Hi, I'm Yusof from University of Technology Malaysia. So today I'm going to present on the instrument developments for Malaysian psychosocial blood donation behavior during pandemics. In the healthcare setting, blood is one of the essential components. Advanced medical technology, rising numbers of hospitals, and the increasing numbers of patients with health problems have led to a high demand for blood donations. Blood donations happens when mentally and physically healthy individual voluntarily becomes a blood donors. National blood centers in 2020 reported that during the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak, there was a sudden drop of up to 40% in the blood donation rate compared to the previous months and years. Moreover, the blood donation is not yet a typical lifestyle formulation as the trends are still inconsistent. Therefore, it is vital to understand the motivational factors of blood donations, especially in unexpected situations such as the pandemic, in order to sustain the blood supply to all hospitals in the future. Hence, the aims of this study are to discuss the developmental procedure of the questionnaire for Malaysian blood donations activity during the COVID-19 pandemic and to establish the validity and reliability of the questionnaire using the rush measurements model. We can define as the instrument skills index inventory or the questionnaire as a measurement instrument used in the psychological testing to measure the human behavior. To achieve the study purpose, it was divided into the 3 stages. The first stage is designing the measurements. Second stage was measurement development. The third stage is the measurement validation stage. In this study, the questionnaire is developed through the 3 construct. The 3 factors influence the blood donations is donation behavior, perceived behavior, and attitude. In this study, the construct were named as the motivation, which is the intentions of people to donate blood. Attitude, comprised of the individual perceptions, mindset, feelings, and belief in the blood donating. And the last one is the behavior, which is the individual action to make their intention to donate blood happens. So this is the process of the study frameworks. We have 3 stages. The first stage is designing, the second is development, and the third one is the validation. Under the first stage, which is designing, we have to identify the study purpose, target population, and study concept. And then we come up with the approach of the literature review. The second stage on the developments is more on the validations, construct and subconstruct, item generation and judgment. So the approach is on the focus group and also panel aspect. The third stage is more on the validations process. We have the pilot study and field survey. We analyze on the reliability and validity, including rating scales, dimensionality, item fits, and polarity items. So we also, after that, run for the GDIF. So it is free. We can come up with the measurement manual and gazette the measurement, which is in terms of the copyright. If not, we have to revise until it is satisfied. For the methodology, in terms of the participants, we have 10 blood donors participate in the focus group discussion. However, out of 10 that we are invited, only 9 can merit. And 5 academicians and experts in the field of testing and measurement were selected as the panel expert to validate the questionnaire contents, especially in the appropriateness and cleanness of the items. Meanwhile, 55 volunteers blood donors were selected to participate in the pilot test, in which the developed questionnaire was tested for the first time. As for the field survey, a total of 414 respondents participated. For the measurements and data collection, an online FGD was conducted to gather all possible opinions, comments, and suggestions from 9 blood donors who had at least donated once. And the developed questionnaire measured Malaysians' blood donation trends during the COVID-19 pandemic through 3 construct and sub-construct, namely as the motivation. Under the motivation, we have rewards and social support. Next, we have the attitude. Under it, we have the self-awareness, self-restriction, enforcement of the MCO, and technology usage. And the last one, we have behavior, including the locations and time, facilities, and blood transfusion staff professionalism. So for the pilot study and real data collection, the test-retest approach is common in major developed studies. Thus, the developed questionnaire in this study was distributed to 55 blood donors for a pilot test. The data were analyzed using the Rush models to examine its degree of reliability and validity. Once the degree of reliability and validity of the measurement is identified, improvements are made. Then the improved questionnaire was retested in the field study that involved a bigger numbers of samples, which is 414. So for the pilot test, we have the reliability analysis. According to Bond and Fox, measurements with the reliability values of 0.7 to 0.9 is considered good, while a separation index value of more than 2 indicates that the measurement is balanced in terms of difficulty and ability of the respondents to give feedbacks. Therefore, the separation index of 4.76 for items indicates that the Rush measurement models identified there were 4 levels of difficulty of the items according to respondents' responses. Meanwhile, the separation index value of 3.003 for a persons indicate that the respondents were classified into 3 levels of ability according to their responses to the items. In conclusion, this questionnaire was reliable and the items difficulty was well distributed. Besides, the randomly selected respondents also were reliable and relevant as they give true feedbacks, not carelessly answering the items. And then in terms of the dimensionality analysis result, the findings approved the 7 liquid skills implied in this questionnaire, hence the 7 liquid skill was maintained. Next, the dimensionality analysis was performed to examine the questionnaires validities further. The dimensionalities analysis offered by the Rush models could filter out the effects of unwanted dimensions or construct in order to expedite the analysis of a particular variable. The off-dimensional aspects of the data are in the parts of the data not explained by the Rush model, which is known as residuals. Residuals can be defined as the randomness of dimensional noise predicted by the Rush models. Therefore, the eigenvalue of raw variance explained by measures and unexplained variance in first contrast is the critical value to look at to classify the measurement as unidimensional. The bigger the eigenvalue, the less unidimensional the data is. The findings of dimensionality analysis for the pilot test show that the questionnaire is unidimensional, with the values of the raw variance explained by 46.8% with 7.6% of unexplained variance in the first contrast. Hence, this questionnaire is considered a unidimensional measurements in measuring the blood donation trends of Malaysians during COVID-19 pandemic. For the item fits and polarity items analysis result, to further validate the questionnaire, item fits and polarity item were performed. This analysis enables the developers to identify whether the item fits have significant meaning in measuring the construct. For item fits analysis, the eigenvalue of mean square in fit and outfit were critical to look at, and Bond and Fox suggested that the accepted M and SQ value for both of the infits and outfits of the item is in the range of 0.6 to 1.4. On the other hand, the Z standardized should be less or equal to 2. However, the Z standardized value can be ignored if the infit and outfit value is the accepted range. Meanwhile, for the polarity items analysis, the accepted value for the point measurement correlation is in the range of 0.2 to 0.7. Using the pilot test data, 5 items were identified as unfit for the Rush models. And for the GDIF test result using the pilot test data, from the analysis, the Rush model found that there were a total of 5 items identified as biased, where 4 items were biased towards females, while the other 1 biased towards males. For this analysis, the critical value should be in the range of plus minus 2, while the IF contrast should be in the range of plus minus 0.5. So, in conclusion, the pilot test result empirically proved that the developed questionnaire in this study has a good degree of durability. Nevertheless, 7 items were found to be problematic as they did not pass the item fit and GRF analysis. Thus, this item we tried to revise it, and 4 of these revised items, 2 items measuring the construct motivation and sub-construct reward, and another pair of items measuring behavior sub-construct of the self-awareness were combined as a rush model identified, then measuring the same thing bias on the respondents' responses. So for the field survey's findings, the improved questionnaire from the pilot test, which was approved by the expert, was tested in the field survey. The survey involved a largest numbers of respondents, 414, which is adequate as refers to Quiji and Morgan sampling table. From these numbers of respondents, only 239 have donated bloods, while the rest, 175 respondents, have never donated bloods. To examine the improvement questionnaire psychometric fields, first, the reliability analysis was performed. The result indicate that the questionnaire has a very good degree of reliability with good separations indexes. And for the dimensionality test, the value of raw variance explained by measures of 39.1% with the unexplained variance in the first contrast being 9.6%. The rush model identified about 9.6% residuals, either the item measuring either construct or of dimension noise, such as the random casings by the respondents. However, this questionnaire was developed for the purpose of investigating the Malaysian blood donation strength during the COVID-19 pandemic with 3 construct and 9 sub-construct. Thus, this questionnaire is still considered unidimensional because to indicate as a multidimensional measurement, it depends on the purpose of the measurement instrument, with the assumption that these small eigenvalues are affected by respondents' randomness guessing, as about half of the respondents never donate blood, so that they might guess some item as their responses. And then in terms of the item fits and polarity of items analysis, from the analysis, 3 items were identified as problematic items. 2 of items have the MNSQ value of unfit and outfit, as well as the standardized value bigger than the accepted value. So in construct, 1 item has a small than accepted value of the point measure correlation, which means that the item brings no meanings to the measurement. So to further investigate if there is any more problematic item, a GDIF analysis was performed. However, the findings suggested that the rush model has identified no item bias towards any genders, as all items have been the critical value in the range of ±2 and DIF contrast in the range of ±0.5. In addition, the rush model also suggests that maintaining the 7 Likert skills as the rating skills categories were used appropriately, and the item's difficulty in accordance with the responsibilities abilities were well distributed. Therefore, as suggested by the panels of experts, no further action is needed as the questionnaire is irrelevant, and all items represent or measure what it is supposed to measure. Although there was 3 problematic items, the expert justified that the items were meaningful to the measurements. Perhaps the respondents' random responses affected the findings of the statistical procedures. So as a conclusion, according to Rush model, the questionnaire developed intended to measure the Malaysian strengths of blood donations during the COVID-19 pandemic possesses psychometric measures that might match the criteria. The questionnaire degrees of reliability and separations index is good for both items and a person. The questionnaires validity also met the standards by the good scores on the rating scales, unidimensionality, item fits, polarity items, and GDIF analysis. Hence, this questionnaire, which consists of 58 items measuring the construct of motivations, with the sub-construct of rewards and social support, attitude with the sub-construct of the self-awareness, self-restriction, MCO, and enforcement and technology usage. The last one is the behavior with the sub-construct of locations and time facilities and blood transfusion staff professionalism is generally valid in measuring the Malaysian split donation trends during the COVID-19 pandemic. So that's all from me. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.